A historical overview of magical realism in literature. Magical realism, also known as magical realism, is a literary genre that is thought to have originated in Latin America in the mid-20th century. Its unique combination of supernatural elements with a real-world setting has captured the imaginations of readers worldwide in both classic and contemporary literature. But where did this genre come from, and how has it evolved over time? In this article, we will provide a historical overview of magical realism in literature. Origins of magical realism. The term magical realism was first coined by Angel Flores in a critical essay published in 1955 that analyzed the works of Jorge Luis Borges, an Argentine writer. In his essay, Flores used the term described the distinct fusion of magical elements into a realistic narrative style that was present in Borges' writing. However, the genre took some years to fully develop. It was not until the 1960s that magical realism as a distinct literary style began to emerge. The origins of magical realism lie in the political and social environment of Latin America in the 20th century. Latin America had a long history of colonial oppression, poverty, and political struggle. During the 20th century, this led to a wave of political and social upheaval throughout the continent, and writers began to explore new ways to represent the Latin American experience in their work. Magical realism emerged as a literary response to this context. Elements of magical realism. Magical realism is characterized by a blend of magical and fantastical elements with a realistic narrative style. In these works, the supernatural is neither fully accepted nor fully rejected, it exists alongside the ordinary in a way that is seamless and natural. In magical realism, the incredible and the mundane are viewed as equally valid and deserving of attention, which is known as the coexistence of opposites. The novels and stories of magical realism are full of mysterious, surreal, and often inexplicable events. The narrative is usually a mixture of dreamlike and realistic descriptions, which seem to be contradictory yet are blended into a coherent whole. Elements of magical realism in literature can include fantastical events, characters with magical or supernatural powers, and the supernatural exists in the real world. These elements are often used to create a sense of instability and questioning in the reader. Notable works of magical realism. Magical realism has produced some of the most influential and popular works in contemporary literature. One of the most iconic works of magical realism is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, which was published in 1967. The novel follows the story of the Buendía family over several generations and incorporates magical and supernatural elements alongside a complex family drive. The novel has been translated into over 20 languages, and is considered one of the greatest works of Latin American literature. Another notable work of magical realism is The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende, published in 1982. The novel was an international bestseller and has been translated into over 30 languages. More recently, the magical realist style has expanded beyond Latin American literature to the works of authors from all around the world. Japanese author Haruki Murakami has incorporated magical realism into many of his novels, including Kafka on the Shore and Norwegian Wood. Murakami's work combines magical and supernatural elements with a realistic narrative style to explore themes of love, loss, and the human condition. Challenges to the genre. The popularity of magical realism as a literary style has grown exponentially since its emergence in the mid-20th century. However, the genre has also faced criticism for its ambiguity, lack of éclat. Our definition and as a Western commercializing of indigenous cultures. One challenge that has been raised about the genre is its appropriation of indigenous cultures and folklore. Critics have argued that magical realism takes traditional stories and distorts them for the sake of creating an exoticized narrative. Furthermore, critics have deemed the genre as a westernization, where Western publishers commercialize aspects of magical realism by packaging the books as part of a tourism industry. Another challenge to magical realism is the perceived lack of a clear definition. Some critics have argued that magical realism is an ambiguous and subjective term that is overused. These critics argue that any fiction with elements of the supernatural could be called magical realism, leading to oversaturation and dilution of the genre. Some of the criticisms of magical realism, such as appropriation of indigenous cultures and a lack of clear definition, are challenges that the genre must confront. Nevertheless, magical realism remains a powerful and popular form of storytelling that captures the complexities of the human experience by blending the fantastic and the ordinary. Its unique fusion of magical and realistic elements inspires writers and readers alike to explore new ways of understanding the world around them. As the genre evolves and adapts, it will continue to offer new insights and ideas that challenge our perceptions of reality and push the boundaries of what is possible in literature. With its rich history and contemporary relevance, magical realism is a genre that will likely continue to captivate readers for many generations to come. The influence of magical realism can also be seen in other art forms, such as film and visual arts. Filmmakers like Guillermo del Toro have incorporated magical realist elements into their works, as in Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water. These films create a similar sense of the coexistence of opposites and the blurring of the lines between reality and fantasy. In visual arts, artists like Frida Kahlo and Remedios Varo have explored themes and concepts similar to those found in magical realism. Their paintings often depict dreamlike and surreal scenarios that create a sense of unease and questioning in the viewer. Kahlo's self-portraits, in particular, often contain magical and supernatural elements that reflect her personal struggles and experiences. Despite the challenges faced by the genre, writers and artists continue to be inspired by the unique and powerful storytelling possibilities of magical realism. It has provided a way for peoples and cultures around the world to connect and share their experiences through fantastical worlds that reflect their deepest emotions and struggles. As we continue to explore the world of magical realism, it's important to note that the genre remains a vital part of contemporary literature. It has evolved and expanded in recent years, incorporating new themes, styles, and perspectives that reflect the diversity of the world around us. One significant development in the genre has been the emergence of magical realism in African literature. Writers like Ben Okri, Chinua Achebe, and Marlon James have incorporated magical and fantastical elements into their work to explore the complexities of the African experience. These works challenge traditional Western depictions of Africa, providing nuanced and insightful portrayals of the continent and its people. In addition to its growing global reach, magical realism is also impacting new generations of readers and writers. Young adult literature, in particular, has seen a rise in magical realism themes with Books like The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern and The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert becoming bestsellers. These works capture the timeless appeal of magical realism while also providing fresh and modern perspectives that speak to contemporary audiences. As we look to the future, it's clear that magical realism will continue to evolve and inspire new generations of readers and writers. As readers and audiences continue to seek stories that offer hope, escape, and new perspectives, magical realism will undoubtedly continue to rise in popularity. The genre's ability to create worlds that blend the real with the fantastic provides a unique lens through which to explore complex issues and connect with people and cultures around the globe. In the end, magical realism is a genre that offers a truly unique and powerful form of storytelling. Its combination of supernatural elements with a real-world setting creates a sense of wonder and intrigue that captivates readers and audiences of all ages. With its rich history, enduring influence, and contemporary relevance, magical realism is sure to remain a vital and beloved genre in literature, film, and visual arts for generations to come. Thanks for watching.